How's it going out there, everybody? Vince here from Farmacyde with the first video in years, man. Anybody who might have recently seen me on Backstage with Spike, thanks for watching, for one, and that kind of gives some background on my hiatus and what went on. But I wanted to do a Farmacyde version of that video, getting a little bit more in detail on why I was gone and some of the things that went on while I was gone and the return and future plans. So I'm not going to keep everybody too long, but just going to do a quick little recap here. So for one, as you can see, I'm not in my normal habitats of the room with my V-drum kit behind me. Now I'm at a house. So we're in a house now. I'm out here in Delaware, and bought a house, and I'm loving it. I'm rejuvenated. I'm happy. I'm very much more simpatico with the Delaware speed of life as opposed to the Los Angeles speed of life. It's much more nature out here. It's much more, it's kind of like small town life. It's a lot of farms and just, you don't see tall buildings anywhere and stuff like that. And so it really needed to change, and that was a big thing. And then now that I'm in a house, I'm back on the acoustics, which is good for Farmacyde music, in my opinion, because I used the Rollins for a long time, but I always wanted to be back on my acoustics, and now I am. So just to do a quick little recap here, so in 2019, the last thing I did was I put out Be Horror Story during Halloween, and then I put out the music video for Illogic on YouTube. And after that, I was actually working on a metal version of Little Drummer Boy, because it seemed like all the bands were working on some kind of a Christmas tune, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I can get on that. I'll do some kind of Little Drummer Boy thing. I've been doing this for a long time, and I usually don't let it bother me, but there was somebody very close to me gave me some negative feedback that I didn't feel was constructive criticism. It was just more mean, and that kind of threw me off for a few weeks. And then after that, in the beginning of January of 2020, is when Neil Peart and Reed Mullin and Sean Reinert died. And anybody who has followed me for any kind of time, Death Human is one of my big records, and Corrosion of Conformity Blind was a very big record for me too, and Rush in general. If I had to name one off the top of my head right now, I'd have to maybe say I'm feeling like Hemispheres, but really all of them, even through I remember listening to Dennis's episode of Backstage with Spike, which I cannot stop listening to that show, man. Spike, you got a good formula going there, brother. Keep it going. I can't wait to hear more of your shit. But anyway, Dennis was mentioning how he didn't, from This Side Anarchy, he was mentioning that he didn't really like the one with the dog pissing on the fire hydrant, which is Signals, by the way. But I even dug that era, dude. Which reminds me, I got to text Dennis later today now, because I got another one I wanted to listen to. But anyway, those three cats dying really kind of had me in mourning for a while, and I didn't pick up the sticks for months. Okay, sorry about that little delay there, but I had to free up some memory. So anyway, I was already pretty much over the negative comment thing. That was done. I was really just still getting over Neil and Reed and Sean passing. But then after that, it was like once I was ready to start moving forward, COVID hit. And that had a horrible impact on me, because the guy who lives downstairs from me, yeah, usually it'd be a Rolling Rock, but it's a Summit Cola from Audi's this time. And they did not pay me to say that. But anyway, COVID really hit me bad, because the guy who lives downstairs from us in the apartment in California was a real jerk, man. I can't even get into all the problems that we had with him. He would pound on the ceiling, which would be our floor, like every time the kids would be running or yelling or getting any kind of thing above a peep, or anytime I'd play drums, anything, man. He was just on it. So and very negatively and nastily. And so when COVID hit, like, I used to be able to time like my recording of stuff and everything and practicing around him being just gone completely. But once COVID hit, he was home all the time. So for like a year and a half, I really couldn't play, man. Like every time I would start playing, he would start banging, and it just got to the point where I just said, you know, fuck it. And I think from like May of 2020 till like November of 2021, I played drums maybe 4 times, like for anything more than like 2 minutes, literally. So it was really bad. And then, you know, the kids, they're homeschooled, and we put them in a new program, which was 10 times more time consuming than the original one that we had them in. So all those things combined for just me to not really have any time whatsoever to do music. And when I did have time, the gremlin was downstairs. So, you know, but so luckily I ended up finding a thing called sim racing in that time, and it helped get me through a little bit. It's a lot like music, in the sense of timing and rhythm are a big part of, you know, racing as well as music. And, you know, sim racing kind of is, it's like you're racing on a computer, but it tries to simulate real racing. And it's very hard is all I can say, but it's fun when you start getting the hang of it and competing with people and getting into leagues and stuff. I'm not going to get into it any more than that. If you want to check out what I've been doing, you can check out iRacing, and that's pretty much what I'm usually on, either doing NASCAR stuff or doing like GT3 racing, or like, you know, stuff like that. But anyway, moving forward, so now 2021, of November of 2021, I finally find out this guy's moving. So, man, it was like the chains are coming off, man. I started playing a lot, but I wasn't working on Farmacyde stuff. I was actually just trying to shake the cobwebs off, because I had, you know, lost a step. And, you know, because being disabled and all, it's hard to keep up the bottom end for myself, because my main problem is in my right leg and hip and ankle and knee and all the way up the line, but my left isn't the best either. So it's like, and your right leg is like your main bass drum leg, so it's like, you know, I got to really keep up with it to stay old and ready to rock. So I'd had to take some time to practice up, and I had the fucking best time doing it. What I started doing was going on YouTube and putting on playlists of 80s workout music, and I would just play along to that, and it was a blast, man. So I did that, you know, for a while, and then I got in touch with Dennis again about starting to get back on our collaboration. And right after that, now we're talking we're like in the beginning of 2022, and right after that, I got a letter from my landlord that they were going to pay us to leave, because they were, you know, we had been in that apartment for like 17 years, and it was rent controlled, and basically they wanted to charge the next tenants a lot more than us. So with that, we were able to move and buy this house out here in Delaware. I mean, I'm mortgaged. You know, I was able to put money down on this house and get a 30-year mortgage. I'll say that. But you know, it's our house, and we love it here. So that is what has been going on with Farmacyde. So what happened? We're in a new location here. So that was everything that has been going on. Now let's talk about the future, and let's do it here in my new studio. It's not put together yet, obviously. I got a lot of, I got some more sound absorption to put up and some things, but it's getting there. So where are we going from here? I have all kinds of ideas that I've got coming out. I've got collaboration projects that I'm working on. I've got another side project band that me and Adam Hyman are working on together. We got our whole new band coming out here. So we're going to be having a bunch of original type, like Sabbath style, metal, rock type stuff coming out. I got a single coming out in the next couple weeks here, which will have 3 songs on it. One of them will be from the new EP that's going to be coming out, and then the 2 B-side songs on the single are going to be for another EP that I'm working on, that I had originally started working on back before I went on my hiatus, so it's kind of buttoning up loose ends type deal. But you know, I got a lot of music planned. I got some more records already, kind of ideas for what to do laid out, and I'm looking forward to getting back into things. I'm not, as people have probably already realized, I'm not quite as active on Twitter as I was in the olden days. And unfortunately, I got to balance things as best as I can. Believe me, I'm on there as much as I can, and I you know, again, no disrespect if I forget to tweet somebody back or catch something that somebody put out about me. I'm try to be pretty diligent about that stuff, but sometimes I mess up. But yeah, so moving forward with Farmacyde, we're all acoustic drums now. The roll-ins are going to be hopefully just something that I'm going to be using to practice on, like in the wee hours when everybody's asleep and it's like I can't play, the acoustics. But, I've been wanting to get back to acoustics, for, 20 years. So it's like now I'm back to the acoustics, and I'm ecstatic about it. It's still been a little bit of a transition getting back into them full-time, as opposed to like part-time in the studios. And like, it's weird, when I would book studio time back in Los Angeles on the acoustics, I would get in, I would work on them. I didn't really have too much of a problem transitioning back and forth, but once I got here and I set them up and I started making it my primary kit, I started finding little nuances, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna need to work on this. Like the heads don't quite, you don't get quite the same bounce back on your stick, and they change per head, which was something that like I didn't really realize in the studios. I guess I don't know why I didn't, but I didn't really realize it until I got back to this kit, and I was like, wow, like each drum kind of has its own, so you got to kind of come up with, so everything stays clean. And it took a little bit of getting used to with that, but I'm easing back into it well, and I love the way you can express yourself on the acoustic kits way more than on the even on the roll-ins, where they try to let you use dynamics and other little tools of the trade, rim shots and stuff, to try to spice things up, but it's still no substitute for an acoustic kit. I got my China back, I got all the bells, I got my 2 rides, and I'll explain all that later. But I'm like I said, I got all kinds of stuff going on in the works. This video is happening right now while I don't know if I can move the camera a little bit to show you, but on the computer screen right there, that's the final song for the new single that I'm working on. And that's going through Audacity right now, which I'm just using. I use Audacity to level things out. So, like, if I, like, once I record the drums, I'll go ahead and I'll run it through Audacity. And I just look for things like, if I have a fill and one or two of the beats in the fill are a little bit too loud or a little bit too low, I can kind of tweak that. And it's just the first part of post-production for me for, you know, cleaning up everything and getting it, you know, ready for release. So the other two songs on the single, they're done, they're ready to ship, they're ready to upload. This one is the final one that I'm working on. And as I'm doing this, I'm getting ready to you know, do my a little quick Twitter video to send out about the news for the single. So it's just, so much is happening, and it's happening fast, and I'm really pushing. I want to try to start getting things out and start back onto a schedule. I know everybody has jumped onto the singles type release pattern to where you don't see people releasing records that much anymore. And I've always kind of done things the old school way. The single that I'm coming out with right now is really just because I haven't put anything out in a while, so I wanted to get something back out there. Like I said, it's going to be one brand new song on the single, and it's going to be two older songs that are going to be redone with acoustics for the other project that I was working on, which I think I'd already talked about, was re-recording a lot of the songs on the original EP, the Farmacyde EP, and just cleaning that up a little bit, because that was, production-wise and all, that was my worst. I was like, I actually made things worse by trying to make things better on that. I was horrible at, you know, lining things up musically. I didn't even know you could zoom at that point and get more precise with where you know, dealt with, you know, different things on tracks. So, you know, I just want to kind of fix the mistakes that were made on that, if you will. And that'll be the second, you know, one of the EPs I got coming out. The other EP will be all original stuff. And then there'll be another album that'll be coming out, hopefully by the end of this year. I'm looking to release this single by around the end of July or early August. I'm looking to release the EP somewhere in late September, early October. And then I'm looking to put out the record either late 2023 or very early next year. It just depends on how things work with each other. But, you know, I'm going to be on Twitter, you know, several times a week, and I'm going to be trying to get a little bit more on YouTube. I'm going to have another video coming up pretty soon, which is going to do like a kit walkthrough, studio type walkthrough, to let you know, show you like just the new toys and everything, and what everything I got working, and why I choose what I choose to play and stuff like that. And yeah, that's about everything. I guess that kind of catches us up. So you've been caught up on what happened. You've been filled in on where we're moving in the future. And honestly, it's kind of good if I'm leaving stuff out, because that'll be more content for later. So, you know, as like everybody knows, I don't like prepare these things. You're not going to be seeing a bunch of cuts and takes and, like, you know, 5,000 takes in a sentence with me type stuff. Sometimes I'll write out the tent poles of what I want to speak about in a video, and I'll have it posted up where I can kind of glance at it so I can make sure I'm staying on topic, because I tend to wander. But, you know, this video was only one topic, so I hit record and I start talking. You know, so like because of that, there might be things that I might have wanted to mention that I haven't mentioned. So that's what I'm getting at. And but anyway, everybody, keep it metal. Thanks so much for the support. I want to thank the community for you know, when I came back and I started putting out music again. I started posting again, everything. So many people like embraced that and made me feel welcome back. It's an awesome. It's just an awesome community to be a part of, the Twitter metal community, and or just the underground metal community. Not really the Twitter metal community, but just the underground metal community in general. It's no other place that I'd want to be, and you know, I don't want to make anybody feel like, you know, there wasn't anything anybody really would have been able to done to help me during my hiatus or anything. I was purposely trying to stick back from it a little bit, because the more that I, you know, would get into it, the more I'd want to start writing and playing music, and the more I couldn't. So I needed to just take a little bit of a hiatus, and, you know, sometimes that's good because, you know, it's good for the music anyway, I think. But once again, thanks everybody for keeping up to date, and keep it metal as always. And I'll talk to you. I'll be keeping you posted on what's going on. All right.